little bit. Our goal in the parodies is to give everybody who is in the show a shot at being in the parody, because generally the film pieces tend to make you look better, because they're edited, they look a little, slicker, and they're not so kind of rubbery around the edits, and it also gives us a chance to select the exact perfect take where you, like that thing at Kristen's, which amazed me so much, that screwed up face thing I would never have thought of. Well, you try to tell them that it's better to be, as we say, inside the tent pissing out, It's better for them to go along with it and trust that everybody will see that they're a good sport. I told a story before you came about a few people who reacted badly to it, and generally speaking, they're sorry that they didn't, whatever it was we wanted them to do, because that's really what Lauren does and what the writers do, is they really have their finger on the pulse of what people can get away with and what they can't. I think even in the end, by the way, I mentioned Patterson before, I didn't mean any disrespect to him, but when he nominated our next senator, he got up on the podium at his press conference, and he said, "I went up to Syracuse and I went to the Senate or wherever it is, the House, and I walked into the lunchroom and I walked up to her and I congratulated her and told her that she was the next senator from the state of New York. It turned out that it wasn't her, and she wasn't pregnant. So he appropriated a blind joke that had been causing so much grief, millions of phone calls and whatnot. Because A, he said, I said not blind, B, he is a philanderer, and there's certain things that you can't hide from, so you might as well make fun of it and go along with the joke and go, yeah, I'm the governor now, so what? Well, that's my philosophy. Never have you been governor. I think half the people that see our news are always thinking that we made up things that we did not make up, okay? In other words, that there's some stuff that's true, that's, as we say, strange in fiction. But I think that the new world, the world of the computer and YouTube and blogospheres, provide you with good information, and it's compact, so you can go to it, whether you go to the Daily Beast cheat sheet or whether you go to whatever you're going to for your news sources, Politico. You're going to get that information. It was such a drag to try to ferret out the real news when you had three networks that were all in the pocket of the people who were making the bad decisions. And then you had CNN, which paid attention for a while, then that didn't work, and then you had MSNBC. That gets okay, but now that's turned into a big cat fight. Once you get to the internet level, we mercifully have been provided with real information that is easy to access and is very compressed. And it also has portals into other worlds of information. So I don't think that comedy really does provide, information, except when you get to something like Whitewater. It could never be explained by anybody. We had a guy named Dave Mendel, who was a writer, who went to work for Seinfeld, and Dave was determined to explain Whitewater. So he did a rock and roll song, like We Are the World, to the tune of We Are the World. He explained Whitewater perfectly. And for the first time, we all understood. It's made the parody commercials less interesting to people. They were always of great interest because they, once again, allowed you to question the reality of the marketplace that came after you and tried to push your buttons to get you to buy the product. And that for a long time was very satisfying to people. If you stood with your friends on a Monday morning or after the show, and you said, boy, that commercial about the birth control pill that you take in the 9th month if you're really not sure, that was really funny, man. That's the, or the butt cheeks thing or whatever. You could succinctly tell it, okay? Much more so than a sketch. But we were displaced to a certain extent by Dick in a Box, which is such a big joke and so easy to explain, and will get people laughing just if you just mention it. So the effect of the internet was that it allowed things to be made much less carefully crafted, not to say shoddy things, but much less carefully crafted things, whose fundamental point of view and humor was immediately understandable and repeatable in a peer group in conversation. Much, much more so than parodies. And also, you got tremendous goodwill out of the fact that these guys who were, they started making movies together when they were 16, and they're all great and they're all talented. Akiva and Yorma and Andy Samberg. These guys were like you guys, so they would, that thing that they did with the guys in the yellow dresses, high-fiving and eating bananas. Come on, that's that you have to really know who your constituency is to go out on a limb with that. We would have, if it weren't for them, we would have talked that to death at a read-through. We would have had 15 people explaining why yellow's not as funny as pink. You know what I mean? But they get it moving. And a lot of the stuff, you mustn't think that just because we have a pretty rigorous, what's the word for it, a process of elimination. So out of 50 scripts, we knock it down to 12. Out of 12, it goes to 8 or 9. The 8 or 9 are long. We cut some of those to make time. It's not a perfect science. And very often at the end of the night, you go, yeah, we shouldn't have pulled that one up, or we couldn't get to it. You know, we couldn't get the cameras there, or we couldn't get the guy out of the dress and into the bear suit in time. So you have to have faith in your reaction to the material and your inner circle's reaction to the material. That's why I said to whoever asked about how do you tell what's humorous, this fellow here. You get the people that you know make each other laugh, and then you get two people for every one of them, and you get in a room and you see if they can laugh, and then you stretch it a little further, and then you put something down on tape and see how that works. You got to have that feel for the audience.
What do you think humor is? I apologize.
Well, there's a book called Humor is a Man in Trouble. There's a lot of glib ways you can say it. I think the fundamental thing is that humor can be defined, in my mind, as something that gives you a release, something that unexpectedly provides you a release, whether it's a pie in the face or somebody's skirt getting blown up or a building collapsing around a guy, dogs getting shaved. I mean, something that gives you, it's anything that gives you that makes you go, that's great. That's what humor is. Now, what is a sense of humor? That's a little bit different. And how do you write humor? I think, from my point of view, again, the thing that Saturday Night Live brought to comedy on television, as opposed to slapsticky, joke telling, was a kind of revival of the older, more satirical and sarcastic traditions that were in theater from the beginning of time. So we were there really to sort of peek behind the curtain of organized society, as opposed to the Vegas comedians who, were like hyper and telling these jokes and, let me tell you about my wife, well, when she sat around the house, So what Saturday Night Live brought back was that idea that consciousness was another fundamental element of humor. And that, humor, not, by the way, that we would not stoop, believe me. Better a cheap laugh than no laugh at all. But you always hope that you're going to be doing something that in some way makes people think a little bit too, or I do anyway. And by the way, just a small commercial for what film can be. The things that we do there when we're cranking up the wind machine, okay, we're kind of pulling the coat of the techniques that commercials use to suck you into a world that makes you supposedly better than the world that you're in, or in a better world than you're in, or makes you get a girl that you could never get, or a car that you could never drive more than 45 miles an hour anyway. So we're always like right on trying to get on that curve that enables you to see that you're being manipulated and to see through it. And once again, talking about the car commercial, we had a fantastic shot in it. Everybody's seen these car commercials where the Mercedes-Benz has a pyramid of champagne glasses on its roof, and it's running so smoothly. Well, we had a pyramid of champagne glasses, and the car was running smoothly, and then it seemed to vibrate a little too much, like it was missing, and then we pulled back, and the guy was humming the car.